Okay, let's start today lying on our backs, but we will bring the soles of the feet onto the mat. So come onto your back, bring the soles of the feet to the mat, heel toe the feet wide, more toward the outer edges of the mat so that you can let the knees fall together. So knees are touching, feet are wide. Arms can either be out by the sides, or you could place the hands on the body if that's going to help you ground. You can either do both hands to the navel, one hand to the navel, one hand to the heart. Play around with those options, see which one feels like the best fit for right now. Close the eyes. Start to take a deep breath in through the nose. And exhale out of the mouth. So lengthening our breath. Big breath in through the nose, fill all the way up. Let it go out of the mouth. Inhale in through the nose. Tiniest little pause at the very top of the inhale. And exhale out of the mouth. Take it in through the nose. Pause. Back out through the nose. Keep going like this. Listening to the sound of your breath. And trying to stay focused on that sound throughout your practice. Noticing when you can't hear it and coming back to it. And if there are other noises or distractions, just keep coming back to the sound of the breath. Make sure you can feel it. Stay with this breath. Blink open the eyes. If they're not already, bring the arms down by the sides. Heel toe the feet back to hip width. Walk the heels in so that they line up underneath the knees. And then for your next inhale, press into the feet. Lift the hips up like halfway. And on the exhale, bring the hips back down. Inhale, lift the hips up a little bit higher. Exhale, bring it back down. So we'll just keep going with this. Each one can get a little bit bigger. It doesn't have to be much. Inhale, lift up. Maybe you start to feel the chest. And exhale, bring the hips back down. Inhale, lift up, maybe 80% into bridge. Maybe the shoulders are wanting to go underneath you, and slowly lower. We'll add the arms. This time, inhale, lift up, reach the arms up and overhead. So the backs of the hands touch the ground behind you. And exhale, bring the arms down, bring the hips down. And we'll just keep going like this. Inhale, lift up, reach the arms up and back. And exhale, bring it back down. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, release. This time we'll come into a hold in the bridge. Inhale, lift the hips up, reach the arms back behind you. Press down into the legs, point the tailbone up between the knees. Keep everything the same, just bring the arms down by the sides. Leave the arms here and start to wiggle the shoulders underneath you, pressing the outer upper arms into the mat, lifting and spreading the chest. Knees point straight forward, they're not splaying out. You're still breathing. And it's like you're squeezing a block between the thighs. They're going straight forward with a little bit of engagement in the inner thighs. Slowly start to bring the hips down to the mat. Bring the knees together, walk the feet out wide, just the way that we started. If you want to bring the hands on the body, that's an option too. And either bring the arms out wide like a T shape, or you can cactus the arms and then move the knees side to side. So keep the feet wide and the knees are going side to side like windshield wipers. And the knees don't have to touch the ground. You're just keeping it nice and loose, relaxed. You'll come back to center, bring the knees in toward the chest. And then each hand on each knee, and start to bring the knees around in a circle. Just go in the same direction. You'll feel the lower back on the ground, which should feel nice. The hips. Then go the other way with your circles, opposite direction. Set the feet back down onto the mat. Interlace the fingers back behind the head. So you're laying back onto the hands. You're hugging the belly in. Elbows stay wide the whole time. And look up. So we're going to explore some crunches, but the tendencies start to look forward and bring the chest forward. We really just want the chest to go up. So as you hug the belly in, take an inhale. Exhale lifts you straight up. Keep looking up. Then inhale back. So feet stay on the ground. Take an inhale with the head down. Exhale, lift up. Inhale back. Exhale up. Inhale back. Head's heavy so you don't use the neck. Exhale up. Inhale back. Lift up with the heart, the chest. Keep looking up. Inhale back. This time, exhale up. Stay here. See if you can come back just about halfway on the inhale. Then come all the way up on the exhale. So we'll just do halfway back on the inhale. Inhale back. Exhale up. Keep going. This time, inhale halfway back. Exhale up. Hover the feet. So bring them in line with the knees. Then inhale all the way back. Exhale up. Inhale back. Exhale up. Inhale back. Exhale up. This time, inhale back. On the exhale, bring the chest up, keep the legs the way that they are, or straighten them. They can be feet right over the hips. If you want to make it harder, start to bring them away from you, maybe just like a third of the way. Then inhale back. Exhale up. Inhale back. Exhale up. 3 more. Last one. Oh, hug the knees into the chest. Move the hips side to side. Just rock side to side. Grab onto the backs of the thighs, and you'll start to take some rocks. So spend some time here. Take several rocks just going up and down the spine, feeling that on the mat. Starting to build some momentum. And eventually making your way up to hands and knees. Coming into tabletop. And fingertips can point forward if you want to open up the wrists or the forearms. Turn the fingers out to the sides of the mat, or maybe you turn them all the way around for cat-cow. When you feel ready, on the inhale, bring the heart forward. On the exhale, round the spine. Push the mat away from you. Keep going. Inhaling forward. Feeling a nice stretch in the abs. And exhale, round it. Scoop the belly in. Last round, forward and back. Coming back to tabletop, turn the hands back around if you switched the position of the hands. And then start to tuck the toes, hug the belly in, hover the knees away from the mat. So you might not be able to tell, but my knees are lifted and I'm using the core to lift the knees. Keep reaching the chest forward, press down into the mat with the arms and the hands. Keep the toes nice and engaged, inner thighs engaged, still like you're holding a block between the thighs, and then start to set the knees back down onto the mat. You can relax a little bit. We'll do that a couple more times. Fingers are spread evenly. Start to press into the hands. Hug the belly in. Tuck those toes if they're not already, and then hover the knees away from the mat. Just a few inches. The higher you go, actually, the easier it is. So you want to play with where the challenge is. So see how far down you can bring them without touching, and then start to set the knees back down onto the mat. Relax here. One more time. Lift the knees. Find that hover where your challenge is. Make sure you're using the core and not the lower back. Keep breathing. Set the knees down. You can untuck the toes. Come down onto the forearms. Keep the knees and the hips in line. Start to walk the elbows forward ahead of the shoulders. Set the forehead down on the mat. Still hugging the belly in. So it wants to drop. Hug it in and feel a nice opening across the upper back and the shoulders. And you'll slide forward onto your stomach, coming into Sphinx pose. Tops of the feet are down onto the mat. Forearms are shoulder width distance apart. Press into the tops of the feet. Hug the belly in, and then you lift and spread the chest open. Look forward. So sometimes the nose wants to go up. Make sure it's pointing down toward where the baseboard and the floor meet. And eyes stay half open. And slowly start to relax. Make a pillow with the hands. Rest the forehead on top of the hands. So you're resting that part of the forehead, the third eye, where you would if you were in child's pose. Then keep the left forearm down, bend the right leg, reach back with the right hand. You're bringing the heel in toward the glute. It doesn't have to touch. Keep that right knee pointing straight back instead of out to the side. And it's up to you. You can keep the head resting on the hand, or you can lift the chest up a little bit. That gives you a little bit more of a back bend. Keep the forearm down wherever you are. And just focus on the lengthening of the right quad. Then you'll switch sides. Release the right foot, bring the right forearm in front of you, bend the left leg, reach for the left foot, bring that in. Release the left foot. Bring the forearms back down in front of you for Sphinx pose. Press into the tops of the feet, hug the belly in, spread the chest nice and wide, shoulders nice and wide. Keep pressing down into the forearms and the hands. Start to look down at the mat, tuck the toes, fire up the belly and the legs, come to forearm plank. Keep the feet hip width distance apart, or maybe a little bit wider so it's easier to bring both heels over to the left. Left hand can come in a little bit, especially if you need more space for the shoulders. Reach the right arm up. So you're coming into a forearm side plank. Scissor those inner thighs so the legs feel nice and long. Reach up with the right arm. Maybe you reach up and over with the right arm, especially if the balance is there. Right forearm comes back down to the mat, back to forearm plank, switch sides. Both heels go over to the right. Lift the left arm up toward the sky, lift the hips up, push the mat away from you. Reach the left arm up and over the ear. Nice long legs as you scissor the inner thighs, lengthening the tailbone. Left forearm down to the mat, back to forearm plank. One hand at a time, plank pose. Down dog. So this down dog, think about when we were doing puppy dog, that was with our forearms down on the mat and the knees down on the mat. Find that same space across the shoulders and the upper back chest area. Keep hugging the belly in just like you did there. Push the hips up and back. Right leg lifts up and back. Step the right foot forward. up between the hands. Set that back knee down. You can keep the back toes tucked. Reach the arms all the way up. Then clasp opposite elbows overhead. Hug the belly in. Lift up. So it's like you're pulling the elbows up, feeling the sides of the waist get longer, and then lean over to the right. Keep hanging onto the elbows. Point the chest forward. So that left side of the chest wants to go down toward the mat. Come back to center. Reach the arms up. Hands come back down to the mat. Lift the back knee. You're in a lunge. Reach the right arm up for a twist in your lunge. Right hand comes down to the mat. Step back to downward facing dog. On an inhale, glide forward to plank pose. Lower down halfway to chaturanga. Press back up to plank pose. Downward facing dog. Left leg goes up and back. Left foot steps up between the hands. Set the back knee down, keeping the toes tucked. Reach the arms up. Clasp opposite elbows the weird way, the other way. Lift those elbows up. So you're lifting the waist, lifting the sides of the torso, and then lean over to the left. Keep the chest square forward. Back through to center, reach the arms up, bring the hands down to the mat, lift that back knee, right hand stays down, left arm reaches up. Find the twist. Right shoulder's away from the ears. You push the mat away from you. Left hand comes down to the mat. Step back to downward facing dog. Glide forward to plank pose on the inhale. Lower down halfway chaturanga, all the way down to the mat. Tops of the feet, cobra. Exhale, release, down dog. Bend the knees, look forward, walk the feet forward, take several steps to get the feet up between the hands. Keep the feet hip width distance apart. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. 2 more of those. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Last one. Inhaling up. Reach the heart forward from the navel. Exhale, fold over the legs. This time, inhale, circle the arms all the way up. Bring the hands together overhead and down in front of the heart. Let's take that same quad stretch, but we'll do it standing. So bring the left hand to the hip, shift the weight over to the left foot, bend the right leg, reach for the top of the foot. So same thing we did lying on our stomach, but you're doing it standing. Keep those knees side by side, root down through the left side of the body, lift the chest up. And gently release the right foot, right hand to the right hip, shift side. So right foot standing, left foot bent or left leg bends, grab for the left foot. Knees next to one another. Lengthen that left quad away from you. Set the left foot down onto the mat. Inhale, circle the arms all the way up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, hands down, step back to plank pose, lower down halfway chaturanga. You choose cobra or up dog. Exhale it back, downward facing dog. Bend the knees, look forward to the top of the mat, bring the feet forward. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, circle the arms all the way up. Bring the palms together overhead and down in front of the heart. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, hands down. Step back to plank pose. Lower down halfway to chaturanga. Inhale up for your back bend. Exhale back, downward facing dog. Bend the knees, look forward, hug the belly in, bring the feet forward, nice and light. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach the arms all the way up. Get as tall as you can when you bring the hands together and down in front of the heart, keeping that height. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, hands down, back to plank. Lower down the exhale, chaturanga. Inhale takes you up for your back bend. Exhale brings you back to down dog. Bend the knees, look forward, feet forward. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach the arms all the way up. Bring the hands together overhead and down in front of the heart. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhaling up halfway. Exhale, hands down, step back to plank pose. Lower down halfway to chaturanga. Inhale up. Exhale back. Right leg lifts up and back in your downward facing dog. Knee to nose. Back to three-legged down dog. Lift that right leg up and back. This time, step that right foot forward up between the hands. Hop the back foot in. You're coming to warrior one. Take your time, reach the arms forward and up. Interlace the fingers behind the back. Take an inhale. Exhale, humble warrior. Plenty of time to explore the bow. Make some space for the neck. Move the shoulders away from the ears. Keep that right knee over the right ankle. Release the hands. Come back to warrior one. Square everything forward. Bring the hands down to the mat. Step back to plank pose. Lower down halfway chaturanga. Inhale up for your back bend. Exhale back, downward facing dog. Left leg reaches up and back. Knee to nose. Three-legged down dog. Step the left foot up between the hands. Warrior one, right heel comes down. Reach the arms forward and up. Interlace the fingers the weird way behind the back. Open up across the chest. Fold forward. Humble warrior. Back up, warrior one. Reach the arms forward and up. And exhale. Bring the hands down to the mat. Step back to plank pose. Take a vinyasa if you want one. Meaning back in downward facing dog. And bend the knees, look forward, bring the feet forward. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Chair pose, bend the knees, reach the arms forward and up. So shoulders are away from the ears, but you're still reaching up with the pinky fingers. Sit the hips low, keep the knees pointing straight forward, then rise all the way up to standing, hands come together, down in front of the heart. Inhale, sit back, chair pose. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, hands down, step back to plank pose, maybe a vinyasa on the way back to downward facing dog. Once you get to downward facing dog, lift the right leg up and back. Start to walk the hands back to the standing foot. So you're coming into standing splits at the back of the mat. Left foot down, right leg lifted. This right foot, it's gonna step behind the left foot. So you're crossing at the ankles. Pinky toe sides of the feet are together, left foot's in front. Walk the hands over to the left. You can use blocks if the floor feels far away. And then you pull that right hip back a little bit. Keep a little bit of a bend in the back leg, the right leg. And bring the hands back to center. Lift the right leg up, standing splits. Start to walk the hands forward, back to your three-legged down dog. Knee to nose. Three-legged down dog. Step the right foot forward up between the hands. Warrior one, hop that back foot in, reach the arms forward and up. Interlace the fingers behind the back, humble warrior. Rise back up, warrior one. Warrior two, open it up, spread the arms out wide, lengthen your stance if there's more space. Listen carefully. Flip the front palm, reverse triangle. So you straighten the front leg and reach up and back. Keep the front leg straight. Just come back up to standing with the arms wide. Triangle pose. Shift the hips back, reach forward, then bring the right arm down, left arm up. Legs stay the same, reverse triangle. Press down into the feet and the legs. Reach that right arm up and back. Then you'll come to extended side angle. Start to bend the right knee forward, either forearm to thigh and reach the left arm up and over, or if you feel open, bring that right hand down outside of the foot, maybe on a block or on fingertips. Open up the chest. Keep that back leg rooted. Now bring the hands down to the mat, step back to plank pose. You choose if you want a vinyasa. Back to down dog. Left leg reaches up and back. Walk the hands back to the standing foot, standing splits, back of the mat. Let the head and the neck go. Fold over the right leg. Left foot steps behind the right foot. Pinky toe sides of the feet together. You can come up halfway, keeping the fingertips on the mat, and then start to walk the hands over to the right. Keep pulling that left hip back, little bend in the back leg. Let the head and the neck go. Back to center with the hands. Reach that left leg up and back, standing splits. Walk the hands forward to downward facing dog. Knee to nose. Three-legged down dog. Left foot steps through to the top of the mat, warrior one. Interlace the fingers the other way. Humble warrior when you're ready. Take your time. Back up, warrior one. Open up, warrior two. Keep sending that left knee straight forward so it stacks right over the ankle. Keep reaching back with the right arm so you open the right side of the chest. Reverse triangle. Straighten the front leg, flip the front palm, reach up and back. Keep the legs, reach the arms out wide, set up for triangle. Keep that fire in the legs. You're coming back to reverse triangle. Keep the arms wide, flip that front palm, front leg stays straight as you reach up and back. Extended side angle. Start to bend the front leg. Bring the left hand outside the foot, forearm to thigh, whatever you did on the first side as you reach the right arm up and over. Keep opening the chest up. Right hand comes down to the mat. Step back to plank pose any way you want. Make it back to downward facing dog. Bend the knees, look forward, bring the feet forward. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Chair pose. Press up to standing, hands come together, down in front of the heart. Inhale, sit back, Utkatasana, chair. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, hands down, step back to plank pose. Vinyasa is optional. Right leg goes up and back. Walk the hands back to the mat, at the back of the mat, standing splits. Right foot steps behind the left foot. Come forward with the hands underneath the shoulders onto the fingertips and start to walk the hands over to the left. Let the head and the neck go as you fold over. Pull that right hip back. Hands come back to center, standing splits. Lift the right leg up. Walk the hands forward, three-legged down dog. Knee to nose. Three-legged down dog. Warrior one. Interlace the fingers, humble warrior. Release the hands, Vera one, come back up. Open up, warrior two. Straighten the front leg, flip the front palm up, reverse triangle. Triangle. Spread the arms out wide, shift forward as the hips go back. Right arm comes down as the left arm reaches up. Keep the core engaged. Press down into the feet and the legs. Back to reverse triangle. Go slow. Legs stay the same. Reach up and back with the right arm. Extended side angle. Bend that front leg. Bring the right hand down outside the foot. Maybe reach the left arm up and over. Left hand comes down to the mat. Step back to plank pose. Maybe a vinyasa. Left leg reaches up and back. Standing splits back of the mat. Take your time. Left foot steps behind the right foot. Walk the hands over to the right. Keep pulling the left hip back. Fold over the legs. Back to center with the hands. Come into standing splits, lifting the left leg. Walk the hands forward, three-legged down dog. Knee to nose. Three-legged down dog. Left foot steps forward, warrior one. Interlace the fingers, one finger over. Humble warrior. Back up, warrior one. Open up, warrior two. Stay here, build some heat, especially in that front leg. You know you're about to straighten it. Maybe you lunge a little bit deeper. Maybe you reach back a little bit more with the right arm. Straighten the front leg, flip the front palm, reverse triangle. Triangle. Spend some time in the transition. Set it up well. Be mindful of not locking that left knee. Use the muscles for strength instead of the bones. Start to lift yourself back up to reverse triangle, flipping that front palm, keeping the legs the way that they are as you reach up and back. Bend the front leg, extended side angle. Left hand down or forearm to thigh, reach the right arm up and over. Right hand comes down to the mat, step back to plank pose, work your way through a vinyasa, back to downward facing dog. Bend the knees, look forward, feet forward. Inhale up halfway, exhale fold. Chair pose. Rise up to stand, hands come together, down in front of the heart. Inhale, sit back, chair. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, hands down, back to plank pose, vinyasa. Down dog. Right leg lifts up and back. Walk the hands back, standing splits. Little different this time. Start to bend the standing leg. That right knee is going to come outside of the left foot. You're going to come to seated. Go slow, use the hands. You're seated. Onto both hips. That's the tricky part. And we're taking a twist. Wrap the right arm around the bent leg. Left hand can come back behind you. Sit up nice and tall. You could even interlace the fingers like you're going to pull the elbows apart. This will help you get down into both sit bones evenly. It'll help you lift the chest and open it to the left. And then you gaze in the direction that you're twisting in. Bring the gaze forward. Hands come down in front of you. You're coming back to standing splits. So you shift the weight back to the left foot, reach the right leg up. You could grab the back of the left calf with the left arm. Maybe you play with grabbing using the right hand to grab the left leg, maybe the ankle or wherever it wants to go. Playing with your balance a little bit. Hands come down to the mat. Walk the hands forward, back to three-legged down dog, knee to nose on the inhale. Exhale back, three-legged down dog. Step that right foot up between the hands, warrior one. Interlace the fingers behind the back, humble warrior. Back up, warrior one. Open up, warrior two. Stay here for a few breaths. Lunge deeper into the front leg. Stay rooted in the back leg. Open the chest to the side as you look forward. Reverse triangle. Straighten the front leg, reach up and back. Triangle. Take your time. Keep the legs the way that they are as you reach forward. Bring that right arm down, left arm up. Back to reverse triangle. Go slow. Bend the front leg, extended side angle. Maybe the hand comes down, left arm reaches up and over. Left hand comes down to the mat, step back to plank pose, decide how you're getting back to downward facing dog. Left leg reaches up and back. Walk the hands back, standing splits. Start to bend the standing leg. Left knee crosses behind the right leg, eventually bringing that shin and foot down to the mat, eventually bringing the hips down to the mat. Sit up tall. Make sure you're even on both hips. Start to open the chest to the left. Grab onto that knee. Maybe you interlace the fingers like we did on the first side so you can press down into both sit bones, lift the chest so it's right over the hips, and it's like you're trying to pull the arms apart. Bring the gaze in the direction you're twisting in. Maybe that's back behind you if the neck allows for it. Bring the gaze back forward. Hands come down in front of you. Press into that right foot to make your way back to standing splits. Right arm can go behind the right leg. Maybe the left hand helps you play with your balance. Maybe you play with grabbing the left ankle. Hands come down to the mat. Walk the hands forward. Three-legged down dog. Knee to nose. Three-legged down dog. Left foot steps forward, warrior one. Square everything forward, interlace the fingers behind the back, fold forward, humble warrior. Back up, warrior one. Open it up, warrior two. Stay here, breathe, get into it. Flip the front palm, straighten the front leg, reverse triangle. Triangle. Spread the arms out wide, keep the legs, shift the hips back, lengthen the left side of the waist before you bring the left arm down, reach the right arm up. Back up, reverse triangle. Bend that front leg, extended side angle. Bring the left hand down, right arm reaches up and over. Get long as you open the chest up to the sky. Right hand down to the mat. Step back to plank pose. Last vinyasa if you want this. Back to downward facing dog. In your downward facing dog, look forward at the hands. Can you lower the forearms all the way down to the mat slowly at the same time? So you're in downward facing dog with the forearms down on the mat. Push the mat away from you. Keep the arms nice and strong. If they feel too wide or too narrow, you just want the hands and the elbows right in front of the shoulders, which for most of us is more narrow than we think. As you push the mat away from you, you can start to look back the way you normally would for downward facing dog. Gaze is probably going to be between the heels. Keep hugging the belly in. Feel a nice opening across the chest and the shoulders. Walk the feet in, dolphin. So the feet come in as much as the body allows. You start to push the hips up and back. Keep those shoulder blades widening across the back. Chest is opening, thoracic spine is opening, belly's hugging in. And you can hear your breath. Start to walk the feet back to forearm plank. Shoulders stacked over the elbows. Squeeze those inner thighs, keeping the feet hip width. Heels come over to the left, forearm side plank. Reach that right arm up. Scissor those inner thighs, lift the hips up. Maybe the right arm goes up and over the ear. Forearm plank. Switch sides. Heels go over to the right. Reach the left arm up, maybe up and over the ear. Get nice and long. Use the whole body. Push the mat away from you. Breathe. Left forearm comes back down to the mat. Forearm plank. Hips down, sphinx pose. Tops of the feet come down. Chest is nice and open. Belly's lifting away from the mat. Neck is long. Then rest the head on the hands. So make a pillow with the hands. Come back to this resting position. And you can just relax here. Let the body be heavy. Take that all in. And start to reach the arms forward. Bring the palms down onto the ground in front of you. Look down toward the mat. So the head and the shoulders are in line with one another. So your head's not down on the mat, it's just lifted. Press down into the tops of the feet, press down into the hands. You'll feel the belly immediately lift away from the mat and the tailbone point back. Hang on to that. Lift the arms up as high as you can, which might not feel like it's that high. Keep pressing down into the legs. Then cactus the arms. It's like you're trying to bring the elbows down toward the waist. Keep reaching the chest forward. If you want to, you could lift the legs, pointing the toes straight back. Breathe here. See if you can lift the chest a little bit higher. Elbows come in a little bit more. Legs stretch back. Set the feet down. Reach the arms forward. Set the hands down. Now rest the head on the hands. You can make a pillow Let that go. And we'll do one more of those. Stretch the arms out in front of you. Bring the palms down. Bring the feet down. Press into the hands and the feet. Look down toward the mat. Heads in line with the shoulders. Belly's hugging in. Tailbone points back. You keep all of that. Start to lift the arms up as high as you can. Then cactus the arms, allowing the chest to lift forward. Maybe the legs start to lift. Point the toes back. Breathe right here. Keeping this back bend so strong, using the whole body. Set it all down. Rest the head on the hands. Let everything relax. Bend the legs. Move the feet side to side like windshield wipers. Set the feet back down onto the mat. Come back to Sphinx pose. Bring the forearms down to the mat. Hug the belly in. Chest is nice and wide. Tuck the toes. Fire up the legs. Forearm plank. Last thing, dolphin. Walk the feet in. Push the mat away from you. We just did all those back bends. This should feel a little bit better. Put the weight into the legs once the feet won't come in anymore. Push the mat away from you. Think about spreading and making space across the back of the heart. Start to walk the feet back, forearm plank, one hand at a time, plank pose, downward facing dog. Downward facing dog, the upper back area should feel like pretty spacious and not as tight as it did before. Bring the knees down to the mat, child's pose, big toes together, forehead comes down. Arms out in front of you if you want, or back behind you. See which one feels better. Start to make your way up to seated. And then once you get to seated, bring the right foot in. Step the right foot over the left leg. You could keep the left leg extended or you can bend it. So same seated twist we did before. Keep both hips on the ground and the sole of the right foot's on the ground. Open the chest to the right, grab onto that right knee. And it's like the knee is pressing into the arm and the arm's pressing back into the knee. That'll help you get both hips down and sit up a little bit taller. You can stay just like this. You can interlace the fingers like we did before and try to spread the elbows apart, or you can keep the right hand down and hook the elbow if you want a deeper twist. Bring the gaze forward, unwind the torso. Legs are gonna stay the same. You can grab the outer edge of this right ankle and pull it out to the side to stack the knees. Feet can move away from you if that feels like it's better. And if this is not happening, extend the bottom leg forward and just keep the top knee over it. But if the bottom leg stays bent in, then you have Gomukhasana legs. Reach the arms up and bring the hands down in front of you. So you're coming into a hip opening. You might feel something right here. So that's where you stay and just close eyes and breathe. Some of you might need to fold forward. Close the eyes wherever you are, breathe, and you may be able to hook the chin over the top knee, but just if it's right there, it's a comfortable place to be. You're not trying to reach for it. Bring the hands back in, coming back up to seated. Bring the hands back behind you. Extend the bottom leg out in front of you, then extend the top leg. And we'll switch sides. Left foot comes in toward the hips. Step the left foot over the right leg. Decide if you're going to bend the bottom leg. Open the chest to the left. Hang on to this left knee. Sit up nice and tall. Press the knee into the forearm back into the knee, even on both hips. Now take your arm variation, either interlacing the fingers like you're going to pull them apart, or maybe the left hand stays down and you hook the elbow, coming into a deeper twist. Gaze comes back forward. Slowly unwind the torso. Grab the outer edge of this left ankle. Pull it out to the side to stack the knees. Still even on the hips. You have the option to extend the bottom leg forward. And feet can move away from the hips. They can come more in toward the hips. Play with that until you find a place where there's less of a struggle. Sit up nice and tall. Take an inhale. Exhale, start to lean forward any amount to where you get into the hips and start to open them. Walk the hands in, bringing yourself back up to seated. Bring the hands back behind you. Extend the bottom leg, then the top leg. Both legs out in front of you. And then shift forward, bending the legs. Come onto the back. And take happy baby. Reach to the insides of the legs. Grab the outer edges of the feet. Can rock side to side. Hips stay down on the mat. If you want to extend the legs, you could, or you could just extend one at a time, or keep the legs bent. Choose the option that feels the best. Hug the knees in toward the chest. Bring the nose up toward the knees. Close the eyes. Take a big inhale in through the nose. Hold it at the very top. Sip in more air through the mouth. Exhale, Shavasana. Extend the legs out in front of you, arms out by the sides. Let the face start to relax so the jaw softens, becomes heavier. Lips are closed softly. You feel the face start to spread, the forehead start to spread, the space between the eyebrows, the cheeks start to hollow. Feel that seam spreading across the chest. And the legs melt into the mat. Slowly start to come back to the breath, back to the body. Find some small movements. And then on your next inhale, reach the arms up and over the head, finding a nice long stretch on your mat. Start to roll over onto your right side, cradling the head and the arm. Use the hands to bring yourself up to an easy cross-legged seat. Bring the hands together in front of you. Bow the head, taking a moment to honor and acknowledge your heart and spirit, as well as everyone around you. Bring the head back up, blink open the eyes. Namaste. Thank you.